Hi everybody, this is Judy Bodge with your town supervisor and welcome to our virtual FunDay Monday series. In an effort to make sure that our residents stay safe this summer, we're adhering to strict social distancing guidelines, and even our FunDay Monday series has gone virtual. Our 2020 series might look a little different than it did last year, but we certainly hope that you'll continue to join us each week because there'll be new and exciting things each Monday. FunDay Monday has grown to be a tradition for so many of our senior citizens, and I know I look forward to our FunDay Mondays every year. With hundreds of seniors attending, we knew that once the pandemic hit, we wanted to continue to host our weekly events, but we needed to develop a plan where we could do this while making sure that our residents stayed safe. So I, along with our town board, worked closely with our Department of Community Services to develop some new and interesting programming for you. Throughout the summer, we will be providing our residents, you, with engaging and fun entertainment every Monday. You'll get to hear from our town board, our town clerk and receiver of taxes about their favorite FunDay Monday memories. We'll have exercise classes, we'll have workshops to tours of hidden gems in North Hempstead. There'll be something for everyone with our virtual FunDay Monday. I hope that you'll join us each week. This week, we're so lucky to have with us our council member, Lee Seaman. Councilmember Seaman is going to talk about why FunDay Monday is so important to her, as well as to all of our senior residents. We're also very fortunate that we will have a docent-led tour of the Nassau County Museum of Art, which will be highlighting some of their outdoor exhibits, followed by a yoga class. So let's get this tour started.
I always said, welcome to Gatsby's mansion. This is this beautiful Gilded Age mansion. It was the home of the Frick family. If you know the Frick Museum in New York on 5th Avenue and 71st, this is the Frick Museum on Long Island. It's the most beautiful mansion inside. It's an amazing place in which to see art. And every single year we put on 3 beautiful exhibitions full of some of the greatest art and artists in the world inside this mansion. But today, what you're going to be learning about from me and from some of my distinguished colleagues is that surrounding this extraordinary building, this mansion, are 145 acres with trails that were laid out by the famous William Cullen Bryant that snake all around here, 11 trails, and the whole place is filled with art. Sculpture by some of the greatest sculptors in the world, including a few pieces that are brand new that you, even if you've been to our museum before, you might not know these sculptures. And also sculpture that has been here since the very beginning of the museum 30 years ago. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Now, I just hope that after this is all over, you'll come and join us inside as well for some of the exhibitions that we're doing, and join us outside for fresh air, for the beautiful gardens, and some of the programs that I'd like to tell you about. Even now, you can come to our museum online, the museum from home, and there are programs that can teach you about art. They can tell you a little bit more about the family that lived here, the Frick family. It's a wonderful, wonderful story, by the way. Really, really fascinating man named Charles Frick, who was a paleontologist, collected dinosaur bones. His lab is right over there. But also how to draw, for instance. We put all kinds of wonderful content up on our website during this time when we've all been locked down. So come when we do open. We have a lecture series, we have films, we have classes for adults, we have life drawing classes, we have classes for little children, we have a summer camp for little children that's going to be done, for instance, online. So if you have grandchildren, this is the place to be. Every time I come here, and I work here, I'm inspired by the art, by, of course, nature, and by the opportunity to learn something new.
Hi, my name is Laura Lynch. I am the Director of Education here at the Nassau County Museum of Art. So excited that you'll be taking a stroll around the property, the 145 acres of the museum today. We will look at a selection of sculptures. So let's get started. To my right is our handicapped accessible ramp for our visitors that need some assistance to come up into the museum. And then I'm standing at the top of some steps to go down to the ground. So we will begin our stroll across the property to look at the artwork behind me, titled Red Bank 31 by the artist Alan Bertoldi. It is one of 5 Bertoldi sculptures sited around the property. What I want us to do is to look at it from afar and notice that it is a series of rectangles, approximately 16 rectangles, that are positioned in a serial arrangement that pivots from the beginning to the end over 90 degrees. What's special about this sculpture, it is made out of steel. We might notice some coloration that changes as a result of its interaction with the environment. But we can walk through the sculpture. So I'd like to take you through as we journey through these they look like doors, possibly portals, but they are framing the landscape. So as we get to see this sculpture, we will look at it, and everyone that has the experience around and in the sculpture has a different way of looking at it. It's a different perspective for everyone interacting with the sculpture. So as we begin to look at Red Bank 31, now that we're closer, we had a perspective from further away. Now as we draw closer, we start to really see some of the colors of the sculpture, some of the surface. And as we mentioned, the sculptures are actually interacting with the natural environment. You start to see some of the coloration from rust, which is the intention of this material, which is Corten steel. We also see some lichens that are growing on the surface, which creates a beautiful and adds additional color to the works. So come over this way with me. We are now standing next to one of the first kind of serial arrangement of these very large rectangles. Alan Bertoldi was an artist who was considered to be a minimalist sculptor. That is, using materials that are often used for other industrial purposes, very simple, very spare geometric shapes. So what I would like to do is actually take a walk through and give you the experience virtually, what it feels like to walk through some of these kind of large rectangles that become frames to kind of look at the environment. So what happens with this work is that it's interacting with the environment, and the environment is interacting with the sculptures. So I'm going to step up on here. So I'm very carefully walking through, kind of weaving my body through all the works. So as I walk through approximately 10 of these rectangles, the perspective changed, the angle of these large rectangles changed, and I became invisible and out of sight for a point. Red Bank 31 is an outdoor art installation, and as a result of its exposure to the elements, there is the development of rust on this steel, this Corten steel. The artist knows this and intended this to happen. So we get additional coloration apart from the gray or more black color typically known with steel. But what also happens in the interaction with the environment and changing angles of the sun above us are these beautifully cast shadows. So the sculpture, while very static and very strong and not moving, is actually changing the environment constantly with its interaction with the sun rays coming down and projecting onto the grass behind it. Behind me is another work by the artist Alan Bertoldi. The title of this work is Wood Duck, The title refers to the ducks that live in this pond. They're somewhat shy and they hide among the reeds. But the artist, when he came onto the museum's property, he was inspired by the very round heads of the wood ducks. This is, again, a minimalist sculpture, so it's all about just very basic geometric forms. The artist cited it specifically in our pond, this very round pond, which is also kind of reinforced by the round shape of the sculpture. What makes this sculpture even more special is that it is reflected in the pond that it is sitting above. So you actually have the opportunity to see two wonderful circles based on the reflection. The work, though very static and appears to be floating, is actually sitting on top of a cement base that keeps it afloat in the pond. Though it looks like it never changes, it constantly changes based on the movement of the water and the interaction with the reflection, and also the changing light and the cloud cover that changes the color of the sculpture as the sun shines down onto the pond.
I'm Jean Henning, the museum's senior educator. I've been at the museum for many years, working in the education department and when needed on outdoor projects. I'm delighted to welcome you to this pathway that was part of Childs and Francis Frick's entertainment on summer afternoons when they had guests. When they moved here and lived here in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, a wonderful way to entertain their company, if they had people visiting, was to walk down the garden path from the main mansion and to come to this garden that was designed with Mrs. Frick and Marion Kruger Coffin in the 1920s. Marion Coffin was one of America's first women landscape architects. Landscape architecture was a profession that women were allowed to enter in the early 19th century because it was considered gardening, so it was appropriate for ladies. She became very well known, and she and Mrs. Frick worked for many years on the design of this garden. This design was meant to sort of reflect the classical building that the mansion is. And it's very symmetrical, very classical, very simple straight lines. The garden is divided into 4 garden rooms, and from this perspective you can see the yew hedges that separate the 4 gardens going down different stairways. This teakwood trellis is one of the largest ones of its kind in the country. And this area was used by the Fricks for entertaining, again, on a summer afternoon. It was a lovely shady spot, some beautiful trees out here. They had some lounge chairs. We have photographs of chairs where they could sit for just a casual conversation. And if they wanted more entertainment, they had musicians. On the right-hand side, there's a little stairway that goes up to a platform, and they had musicians who would play up there while the guests enjoyed themselves out here in this beautiful shade. And there are 2 brick structures on either side of the trellis where they stored furniture in one and glassware and china in the other. So if they wanted to have a party here, they did not have to bring it all from the big mansion. It was a lovely way to live, a wonderful lifestyle, and we wish we had it today. The museum also has about 8 marked trails that wrap all the way through the forests and around the ravines. They were originally, as far as we can tell, bridle trails where the Frick family used to ride on horseback when they lived here. The Clayton Trellis Trail, which you see marked here, actually goes right around behind the back of the trellis that we just saw, and it's a beautiful trail that goes around the back behind and ends up at the other side of the parking lot. When the Fricks lived here, they also skied down these hills, and at the top of that hill there is the beginning of a rope tow that they had on a flat top, and there's a very steep decline over there. So again, it was a wonderful spot for all kinds of leisure activities in the era when they lived here. These three ladies are nestled in a corner of the formal garden, actually the azalea garden, which was the transition point between the formality of the garden we just saw and the woods beyond. They are creatures or ladies from Greek mythology, daughters of Zeus. Their names are Joy, Brilliance, and Bloom. And their purpose in life was to bring charm and beauty and laughter to the world, something we all need today and always. They are the oldest, it is the oldest sculpture we have on the property. This one actually was created in 1913, over 100 years old now. And it's probably the most realistic in depicting sort of classical, beautiful human form. These three ladies look like they were rehearsing to do some kind of a dance in a circle. It's a lovely circular form, and they're just paused for a moment because one of them seems to have caught a little rock or a leaf on her foot and she's trying to get it off. The artist, Charles Carey Rumsey, beautifully captures the sense of movement. You can see one foot is sort of lifted as if she's about to take off again. Their hands are joined. This one is sort of has her hand on the hip of the one behind her to keep her balance as they pause. So although it's an absolute still moment, it's like a snapshot that he took of these women, you can almost see them begin to pick up their rhythm and begin to move around again in their sort of eternal job or job description of bringing us all beautiful, something beautiful to look at in our world. This gentleman is right across the roadway from the three Graces, the three very graceful ladies. He presents quite a contrast with his very solid body, very still, his bowler hat and his suit. He is a sculpture by Fernando Botero, who is well known for his love of very rounded forms, large volume, and very smooth surfaces. The man on horseback is a recurring subject in Botero's art, both his drawings and paintings and sculpture, a memory of his father. Botero is a Colombian artist, and his father was a traveling salesman, which in those days meant that he traveled around to sell his goods on a horse. And Botero remembers his father getting all dressed in a bowler hat and a suit, looking very elegant and very proper, and taking off on his horse. You'll notice that Botero also doesn't pay much attention to normal scale in the world. The rider, the man, is almost as big, or in fact bigger than the horse. His legs are just about as big around as the horse's legs. And he seems to just sort of overwhelm the horse completely. Unlike Charles Rumsey, who's the surface of the sculpture, they're both bronze sculptures, is quite rough, and you can see the hand of the artist. Botero likes his surfaces to be extremely smooth. So it's a very attractive surface. You really feel like grabbing onto it and touching it. There's very little detail on this sculpture. You'll notice again, very simple. Everything is rounded, the hat, the arms, the legs, the eyes, the horse's head. The only detail you'll see is in the little tiny mustache over his lips, and which is the same kind of pattern as the horse's mane. And the other detail is on the saddle. There's some little tiny dots on the saddle. So very little ornamentation, mostly just this wonderful volume, this wonderful solid gentleman who greets visitors to the museum as he's right on the main roadway.
So we've just traveled from the garden up a path to another sculpture that we will look at today by the artist Chaim Gross. The title of this work is Caring. We will continue our exploration of the use of the human body and figure in sculpture. This work was actually carved from wood. The artist Chaim Gross was very interested in the use of wood and the texture and the surface of wood. His father indeed was a woodworker in Austria. After the work was carved out of very hard maple, it was cast in bronze, and this is the work that you see here. So what we notice is some of the surface texture. I'm going to get a little bit closer now so you can see. The work is very kind of simplified. You see lots of different planes, different surfaces, some triangular forms that come together to form an almost kind of universal depiction of a woman. What we notice is it is a depiction of a mother positioned on a pedestal. The surface is applied to both the figure and also the pedestal. And in her very strong way, we see a very strong forearm lifting a small child. Chaim Gross was very interested in the theme of mother and child, and that is depicted here. The mother is holding up her child into here in this very beautiful blue sky among the natural environment, but in a very hopeful way. They both look forward as if the child is being kind of held up for the future. In his exploration of the theme of child and mother, Chaim Gross was very interested in the interdependence and the idea of happiness and hope in many of his works. How we need each other, how we support each other. And I think that's depicted beautifully here with a mother and child. As we draw closer to the sculpture, we are very aware of the artist's hand. You can see the chisel marks all over the surface of the figures and also the pedestal. Chaim Gross did chisel this out of a very hard red eye maple. And then again, it was cast in bronze. He wanted this kind of rough-hewn shape, very different from the Botero, the sculpture of the man on horseback. So artists using different techniques and different methods is what we're exploring here today. We continue on our exploration of the figure in sculpture. This is a work by the artist Bruno Lucchese. He was born in Italy. He was raised in a monastery where he was exposed to classical and traditional figures in sculpture. He continues this exploration in his own figurative work. He moves from the classical to more just observed scenes of everyday life. So he's combining his interest in the classical tradition of sculpture and the human form with a very kind of day-to-day scene of someone riding a bicycle. So what we have is, as we draw closer to the work, we notice it's a woman on a bicycle. As we start to really explore, the bicycle does not quite look as functional as it should be. It is missing some broken spokes. There is some kind of wear and tear on this vehicle that she's using. She's in the process of riding her bikes, but we notice that her foot has touched the ground and she has stopped. She's frozen in time. And though she's frozen in time, we still have this very dynamic sense of movement. We've got something that's happening here in this waist, which is a very classical traditional technique called contrapposto. And that means this S-curve, this sense of kind of rotating the torso to give a sense of movement. What Lucchese also did was his technique was building his sculptures out of clay and wrapping them in fabric to get these kind of the draping that's wrapping around the volume of the body. And then that clay model was cast into bronze, capturing every single kind of rough surface texture. When we start to look at this work, I would say that it's the most narrative out of all the works. Here is a woman apparently riding a bicycle, frozen, stopped in time. Her eyes, her sight line goes off into the distance. We don't know what she's looking at. We start to look at her face. There's a bit of maybe distress on her face. We're not sure what the story is. It's left for the viewer to complete. So I ask you to look a little bit and think, where might she be going? Possibly is she running away from someone? So it's really about the viewer kind of filling in the rest of the story.
Hi. I think this is probably the most popular sculpture on the whole property. Everybody wants to take a picture of this one. Tom Otterness is his name, really, really funny name. otter. Well, I'll show you in a second a little secret having to do with otters. Actually, he's a good friend of mine. He's a big-time sculptor. Get another one. He does a lot of works for commissions, especially for courthouses and government buildings and big corporate commissions. But the most famous one, I think, for a lot of people who live in the New York area is in the subway system. He's the guy who did the crocodile coming out of the sewer grate and the little mice and all the different little animals that are running around on 14th Street. But we happen to have, I think, one of his most interesting sculptures. It's a big monumental version, cast, as we say, in bronze, this beautiful bronze with this lovely patina. And this, this kind of bronze, this kind of color, that is the kind of bronze that you see in a monumental sculpture by, for instance, Rodin or some big Civil War monument. What do you get? You get these two goofballs with their funny emoji smiles and their bag of money, easy money, fairy tale. And now I know otterness well enough to tell you, you think you're smiling and you think it's fun and you think it's sort of a cheerful piece, very, very light, skim along the surface. There's always a deeper meaning with Tom Otterness, and very often it is what you would call satire. When he's saying easy money, he's saying beware easy money, because another piece in the same series is when they get down to their last penny. Sorry to ruin your mood, but what I like about it is it gives an added dimension to the thinking behind all of this. And that's one of the reasons why Otterness is revered as a satirical sculptor, as somebody who makes comments on society. And it's no secret that I'm in a Gilded Age mansion. This was big money, right? At the turn of the century in 1900 when this was built. This was Gatsby also. That was big money in the 1920s, the 1980s. Even now, easy money, no such thing. Now take a look around it, because this is another one of those sculptures that work very, very well from all different angles. If you look at these sort of clodhopper shoes and boots, the way in which he's done the folds, almost what you would call drapery studies down in the folds, the wonderful details in something like this. It doesn't lose its cartoonish fun, but it also brings you back into a very, very great tradition in sculpture, going back to the Romans, going even back to Chinese Shang Dynasty. Great bronze is a question of how something is crafted, how something is molded. Usually it's molded in, he's got a whole factory almost downtown in Manhattan that he works in, but you can do these things in clay before they're started. So you shape a mold, you create it, and back here there's a wonderful detail, which I only just learned. Actually, it was a long time secret. I had to learn it from my colleagues. Back here is a funny little mark on this beautiful smooth bronze, and it's the paw print of an otter. The guy's name is Otterness. By the way, just so you know, Tom Otterness, 2001 was the year, and 1 out of 3 means this is cast number 1 of 3. There are only 3 of them in the world. And I think it's one of the most delightful pieces that we could have. It's one of these uplifting ones, and it's just perfect out of doors. If you took this thing inside, it would have an entirely different feeling. Because as you see, the blue sky and the way in which the light goes on, this is called patina, this wonderful color that comes into it. And I think actually, in addition to being one of the most fun sculptures, it's a great way of asking this question: what do you do in the year 2001 with the wonderful tradition, the art historical tradition, of monumental works in bronze? And you probably all know that this is a really big issue right now. There are many bronze monuments that are being taken down all over the United States. So what deserves to be up in public? And this is Otterness' way of saying, I have this satire, I have this sort of funny, comical thing, but with a serious side. This is the monument to our time. This is a masterpiece. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, come on, Charlie. There are 3 huge rolled steel slabs, I'll call them, of what's called Cor-10 steel. This is industrial steel, but I'll tell you where actually he originally got the idea and how these things are made, by a man named Richard Serra. Now, Serra, I don't think there's a bigger name right now in sculpture, in monumental sculpture in the world, a bigger name than Richard Serra. I think we're really, really lucky that he did this. He chose this away from the house, away from the other sculpture. He said, I want this place because in many, many ways, Serra's thing, and he's notorious for this, by the way, he fights with architects, he fights with governments, he fights with his patrons all the time. I don't want this to be some glorification of, for instance, a museum or a company. This piece has one and only one duty in a way, and that is the duty to the land, the duty to the site, S-I-T-E, site. This is called site specific. It's the most beautiful Serra I've ever seen, and I know a lot of his work. I've seen him in galleries, I've seen him in front of big corporations, inside museums like the Guggenheim. This is the one, finally, where he makes peace with the landscape and the environment around him. And Richard Serra's whole deal can be summed up in one thing. It's the relationship between you, your body, your height, I happen to be really short, your body, your height, your scale, and the piece itself, and of course the space that's surrounding it. The closer I get to this thing, as you can imagine, the more monumental it becomes. As you can see, these three pieces is called Plum Run because the very, very top of these, when it was originally installed, were to be perfectly aligned. There's a moment as I walk down here, it's so much fun, by the way, when you come, this is not the most accessible part of our property, but when you come, you walk, you say, I can see all three for only a moment. Then I get down to a right about, for me, here, and I cannot see the second one because right now, they're perfectly aligned. And that's the kind of mathematical precision, by the way, that Serra is really well known for. Gives them an unfortunate connotation. They call this minimalism, when you just do something with just that geometric form and just that beautiful clean edge, and you sort of make people pay attention to how wonderfully perfect it is. Even though the land does this and this, the beautiful geometry of it stays right there. I'll tell you, when I'm having a bad day, I love to come out here because there's something about it that is quite calming. Now, if you come with me for a second, now it's getting bigger and bigger. And this thing is now dwarfing me with its scale, up to, about 12 feet high. And when I come around to this side, all of a sudden, all I've got is a line in nature. Like just one line. I don't have the plane on one side or the plane on the other side. I've just got this one fantastically perfect line. Now I'll tell you a little story about Richard Serra that I love. Richard Serra's dad was a shipbuilder in California. And when Serra was 7 years old, Dad brought him to the shipyard and said, I want you to see what Daddy does. And little Richard Serra was looking up at this hull of a gigantic tanker, and he said to himself, oh man, I want to do this. I want to work with this. And these things are rolled in steel mills and steel plants. One of them is in Germany, in Bremen, Germany, where they build ships. They're rolled to his specifications. And then, of course, they're sunk in this. Now look how quiet that one is down there. And when you get out to about here, you're looking at this slab and you're looking at that one. And as you walk along, it seems like they open up and then they close, and then they change. And the wonderful word for that, by the way, when things seem to change, have you ever been driving alongside a vineyard when you see the rows of vines and they shift and then they shift again? That's called parallax. And Serra is a brilliant, brilliant artist when it comes to parallax, the way in which the optical illusion is played from one side to another. Now, I'm going to jump in and ruin your shot for a second and ask you to look at the color. These are meant to stay outside and rust a little. A moment ago I was talking about the patina on the otterness. This is the patina on Corten steel. And many, many people, including me, we look at these beautiful streaks, the plum color, the purpley color, the deep reds and oranges. And you look at these and you say, there's something almost like a painting about the skin of a Richard Serra sculpture like this. It has some of the qualities of a very, very great American artist, abstract expressionist named Mark Rothko. Especially, for instance, this. This, by the way, is some knucklehead doing graffiti. But this This is almost that painterly side. And when you have a chance to come and visit us here at the Nassau County Museum, this is the Sarah in summer. You should see these big boys in fall, when all of this turns gold and orange and burgundy. Then, and I'm not making this up, you should see these things in winter, when this whole thing goes white. Each season, all seasons shall be sweet to thee, that wonderful line. This thing is beautiful and powerful and lyrical in all seasons. I hope you come someday, and it's almost like my little secret. We have it hidden back here away from the mansion. I hope you come someday and enjoy this masterpiece by Richard Serra. The newest sculpture in the whole property. In fact, the Nassau County Museum of Art, we commissioned this work by Marco Remick, R-E-M-E-C. He's a wonderful sculptor. He's known all over the country. He did a huge thing at a big museum called Mass MoCA, big international art star, right? So I said, okay, we want you to do a work, but we're going to let you pick the place right in front of the mansion, right? We're going to let you pick the place, and then you tell me what you need, and I bought him a telephone pole and a whole bunch of mirrors, and this is what he does. Now, in order to see this, it's called a wood that I wish for. But what he was trying to do with this is he was trying to do almost like a totem pole, like a Native American totem pole. Because what do you see when you look at a totem pole? You see the faces of your ancestors and the people who are on it. So watch. This is the perfect sculpture, by the way, for narcissists, because you know narcissists love to look at themselves in the mirror, right? So you look at this, and there it is. It's you. It's your face. Or in this particular case, it's the mansion, multiplied many times, all the way up to the top of the totem pole. What happens is this colorless surface, this mirrored surface, takes on the green of the vegetation, takes on the blue of the sky. It's got, unfortunately, it has me in it right now, but you know, it's got everything going on around it, and it picks it up. And great sculpture has to be seen from 360 degrees. You see what's going on from every single angle. A work like this almost has no front, no back, right? When he started it, he had strings on it, and he measured out where these mirrors were going to go at about 9-inch intervals. I was here with him, and he started to do it 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches. And this guy's a former Wall Street banker, by the way, so he knows his numbers. But this is what I really love about this sculpture. He started to adjust it a little bit, make it a little bit more human. Not something that could be just done on a computer or done with a ruler. He just sort of said, I think this will look a little bit better this way or that. The kids love it. Everybody who takes a picture wants to take a picture of this thing with the mansion behind it. Wood That I Wish For by Marco Remick. So that about wraps it up for our wonderful tour, but let me just add one more thing. You are so welcome to come and visit us anytime. We're open from 7 in the morning until dusk for the outdoor sculpture that you've just been enjoying and for our beautiful gardens. We're open in the Tuesday through Sunday, and we have a wonderful exhibition for you to see when it's time. I am very committed, and my whole staff is very committed to accessibility, to helping people with disabilities get in and out. We've got that wonderful ramp, we've got a beautiful elevator, but most of all, we've got a great staff and group of volunteers, all of whom understand that it's terribly important that people who need a little help to get around a building or around the grounds are going to get a little friendly help from all of us. In addition, we are having a lot of fun these days putting things up online. We have a website, the Museum from Home. I'll give you the URL, nassaumuseum.org. You'll find videos, you'll find a drawing lesson that's incredible. You'll see all the pictures of the fun things that we're doing. But most important, I think you'll keep attached and engaged to what we're trying to do here. We think that this museum is a hidden gem in Nassau County and in the town of North Hempstead. A lot of people just don't know about us yet, and I think once you come, you'll be hooked. And when you come, ask for Charlie, I'm the director. Ask for Laura, she's my wonderful director of education, and Jean here. Thanks for coming. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to a walk down FunDay Monday lane. I'm Christina Liu with Project Independence, and my host for today is the fabulous John Ryan, who hosts our Project Independence and You radio program every Friday from 10 a.m. to noon on 88.1 FM or WCWP.org. So you can tune in and listen to us. But today we are so lucky because we have the wonderful Councilwoman Lee Seaman. Thank you, Lee, for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. And we were admiring during the break the beautiful necklace and hair that Lee has going on. I could always count on Lee for amazing accessories. So I must say that's my favorite thing.
Can I say one thing, Christina, before you ask the first question? I don't think it's appropriate that Lee comes on and outshines everybody else.
I know.
That's just wrong. That's wrong. That's all.
John.
John feels he needs to go step up his shirt choice, right, John?
I know. Now I got to look, but I got to do something different.
Well, Lee, as you know, FunDay Monday has been going on now for over 35 years. It's been a tradition in North Hempstead. And I want to know, what is your favorite memory from FunDay Mondays?
I just love to be there. I love the background of the Long Island Sound and the opportunity to go around and talk to people at the tables and who are walking around. And if they have a problem, they can ask me about it. It's such a beautiful atmosphere to be there. I love it.
Absolutely. It is. It's nice. And Lee, I want to say, I've been at many FunDay Mondays, and Councilwoman Seaman is around talking to everyone, going to every table. So the connection is really there. And I think that's just a beautiful thing.
And I've been doing it now for about 14 years.
Amazing.
I'm lucky.
Amazing.
And it's an honest connection, honestly, because when Lee goes up to talk to somebody, she does care. And if you're bringing something to her attention, she's listening to you. And she's taking that back to her office, and she's going to work on it for you. Lee, I have a different question. Would you share, and I know something about you, would you share a memory of your summer, something you enjoyed doing in the summertime?
Something I enjoyed doing in the summertime? Well, I thought you were going to ask me about a special experience I've had.
Yeah, special experience, however you want to put it. Absolutely.
I had an experience in the summertime before the revolution in Iran of going there and meeting the Queen, Farah Pahlavi. And why did I go there? Because she was teaching people to read and write in the outlying districts. And I loved the work she was doing. And I made it my business to take a plane with my husband to Iran to meet with her. It's something I'll never forget.
Wow.
When I came to the room where she was standing, I was absolutely in awe. She was all in pink. She came off the beach just to see me. And it's something that you never forget. And it was at the Summer Palace. Special.
And that is some sharing. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Lee's putting all of our other summer memories to shame. That's some memory. That's really a beautiful story. And Lee, now what is something that our listeners might not know about you, whether it might be something you're passionate about or some kind of hidden talent, whatever it might be?
I'm passionate about archaeology in the Middle East. And I've spent a lot of time over there going to excavations in Israel, in a few other countries. And it's illuminating to see what happened 2,000 years ago and what they did. And this is something I love to do.
It's amazing. I realize I can only imagine the great things that you've discovered on these, archaeology digs. Just absolutely amazing.
You see.
Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
No, you see old cities, what they were. You see, what's left of them. And it's such an opportunity in my lifetime to have seen all of this.
Absolutely.
It's the truth. Some people read about it. The fact that you could actually go there and you saw some, honestly, I mean, it's a tremendous, it's just a gift, and you're very fortunate to have been able to do it. And I mean it very sincerely, it's a gift to be able to do it, but you're also a wonderful person at the same time. So as a councilwoman, you know, somebody would turn around and say, you know, oh, she doesn't care because she's been all around the world. That's not the case. You've been all around the world, and you care about the man on your block. And that's what makes you a truly great councilwoman.
I love it. I'm so fortunate to be councilwoman in North Hempstead, in my districts, to meet the people, to get to know them. There's nothing else to say about it. It's special.
No, it is, and you have a good district. Is there anything actually, I know with the pandemic going on, it's very difficult right now. Is there anything going on in your district during the summer?
No, I mean, I worry about the trees, that they're in good shape. I worry a lot about the trees, mostly in New Hyde Park, my district.
Okay.
Yes. I guess I worry about a lot of things going on here, especially now the pandemic and affecting the people here, especially, you know, and especially what Project Independence is doing to help everyone. We're so lucky that we have that. And I was there in the beginning.
Absolutely. Well, that's what, you know, we always is so amazing about your connection to Project Independence, Lee, because you have been there since the beginning, since we just started, and the fact that you've always supported our program. And we're helping the residents. It's a difficult time right now, but all of us, you know, we were saying to just earlier about how just it takes a village, you know, and everyone plays their part. And the fact that we have great leadership in our town, you know, that you're a part of is certainly makes it special.
And I'm also very fortunate to know Kimberly, to see her, how she does things, how at the FunDay Monday she dances around, talks to people. She is a beautiful person.
Yeah, of course. Well, I want to thank you so much, Lee, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in person when this is all over. And I want you to enjoy the rest of your summer. And thank you again for all the amazing things you do for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. And please be safe, which is the most important thing. Until I see you in person, please be safe.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
And you too, John.
Hi, folks. We are Bud and Linda, and since you're not able to come to FunDay Monday, we are bringing FunDay Monday to you. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy our musical segment. Hey. Well, I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey. You better be ready about 8:30. Oh, now, honey, don't be late. We want to be there when the band starts playing. And just remember when we get there, honey, the two steps, we want to have them more. We're going to dance off both of our shoes when they play those Jelly Roll Blues. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Strutters Ball. Yeah! Put on your dancing shoes at home, everybody.
It's FunDay Monday.
Put on the dance of both of my shoes when they play those Jelly Roll Blues. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Strutters Ball. Here's Linda with a song.
Yeah, I got one. Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? I cry the whole day long. Do the cooking, honey.
Wow.
I'll pay the rent. I know I've done you wrong.
Remember that rainy evening I threw you out with nothing but We hope you're dancing at home, enjoying everything.
Remember that rainy evening when I threw you out with nothing but a fight to come. But I know I'm to blame. Ain't that a shame?
Little baby, won't you please?
Little baby, won't you please? Little baby, won't you please come on home?
Oh, yeah, he's coming home. Don't worry now.
Come home,
Wow.
Bill Valley, I'm waiting for you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed that. We have a nice rumba for you right now. It's called Yours. That is correct. Yours. It's all yours. Yours, beautiful rumba from many, many years ago. Thank you. And our next selection will be a waltz, a very, very popular waltz from the early 1900s. And actually, it'll be a medley. So we hope you'll sing along at home with us. Casey would waltz with a strawberry blonde, and the band's
Played on.
He'd glide across the floor with the girl he adored, and the band's
Played on.
But his brain was so loaded it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He'd never leave the girl with the strawberry curls, and the band played on. But his brain was so loaded it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He'd never leave the girl with the strawberry curls and the velvet arm. Let me call you sweetheart.
Okay.
I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light burning in your eyes so blue. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. Burning in your eyes so blue. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer true. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. We won't have a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage. But you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. We won't have a stylish marriage. I can't afford a Mercedes-Benz. But you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. But you look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. One more time. You look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And that concludes our segment for this week. We are Bud and Linda, and if you'd like to contact us, please dial 311. And we'll see you next week. But remember, until then, music and laughter can be the best medicine. See you then. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome to North Hempstead's Project Independence Beach Chair Yoga. So this class will be a gentle class on the chair. So please find a nice sturdy chair, one that doesn't wobble, one that's even, one that you're comfortable in and gives your back support too. Preferably without arms. So you want to be able to have some movement. So when we do twists or when we come into our side stretch, you don't have the arms in the way. If your chair does have arms and it's a good chair and you want to use it, then just make do. You just may have to go over the arm or something like that. So definitely no chair with wheels. A nice sturdy chair in place. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and start breathing in and out through the nose. Positive breaths in. And exhale to release and let go and let the body soften. Inhales, positive thoughts, positive energy, and exhale to release. And continue that pattern as much as you can throughout the practice. Breathing in those positive breaths and exhaling to release and soften, and really thinking about finding balance in the seat. So I do cue breath a lot, but I'm not going to cue breath the whole class. So don't hold your breath. If I'm not telling you to inhale and exhale, please continue and don't hold the breath. So again, let's take that nice full breath in and exhale. Exhale, that's the breath where the body softens, allowing us to come into poses a little bit deeper. That's when the body releases the stress, the tightness that we hold in. Right now, I want you to think about your lower back. Since we are in chair yoga, the lower back is where you're going to find a lot of the tightness. So take a nice full breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to release tension from the lower back and notice the difference of the lower back, how it feels against your chair when you release the tension. So go ahead and do that one more time. Nice full breath in and exhale. And as you're releasing the tension from the lower back, find that balance in the seat. We all get to a certain age, even young people too, we tend to favor one side of the body or another. Maybe you're tighter on one side, so you may find yourself kind of leaning toward the right side of the seat. See if in this class you can, through breathing and releasing the tension, find balance in the seat. So when we do our yoga, our stretching, we are going to do both sides. So let's try to find some nice deep balance. Bring that breath in, exhale out. Let's go ahead and bring the arms to a T. Turn those palms up, inhale the hands up, fingertips reaching toward the sky, palms down, exhaling, lowering down. And again, inhaling, palms and fingers together. Let's lower to heart center. Let's go ahead and set a nice positive intention. An intention is something that you intend to accomplish for yourself. In yoga, we always set our intention in the beginning of class because a lot of times you want that intention, that goal, to be something that you accomplish during class, whether it's to find more balance or to find alignment. So whatever it is, it's nice and positive. And then maybe dedicating your class to someone or something. And that dedication is something that you carry throughout your class. And when you come back and think of your dedication, that person who brings you joy, maybe it's a pet, a cat, or a dog, something throughout your practice that if you just want to think about something positive and lovely, you come back to your dedication. Maybe you take that full breath in with your dedication and exhale to release. Nice. Let's go ahead and inhale those fingertips up, cross all the fingers, turn the palms up toward the sky, connecting to your breath on your next exhale. Keep those arms fully engaged and lower down. Inhale to rise up, rotating the shoulders, extending the arms. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, up again, beautiful. And exhale to lower down. Placing your hands on your knees. If your feet are nice and flat on the earth or you have comfort with them on the balls of your feet, that's great. If you don't, if your feet are kind of hanging, you really want your feet grounded. So you can always, if you happen to have yoga blocks or if you have hardcover books, you can always put a hardcover book under your feet to bring the earth closer. So you have that nice balance of the feet on the earth. So I always have my props nearby. So let's go ahead now and start to warm up our cervical spine. So you want to have that nice balance in the seat. Shoulders are stacked over the hips, feet are on the earth, opening up the chest, maybe bringing the shoulder blades back together behind you a little bit, and just slowly look to the right. Pause, center, pause, and left, pause. And just do that a few times. Your lefts and your rights, gently warming up the cervical spine. Breathing, don't hold your breath. A lot of people tell me they hold their breath when they're warming up their neck for some reason. Very important not to do that. And take your time, let's gaze forward. Make sure that seat, you're nice and aligned, and lower the right ear toward the right shoulder. When you're lowering the right ear toward the right shoulder, you're stretching the left side of your neck. Breathing in and out. Gentle breaths in and gentle breaths out. Nice. Stretching the left side. Great. Let's slowly exhale, rolling our chin toward our chest, nice and slow. We're gonna inhale, roll the head back, and maybe you're gazing forward or maybe you're gazing right over your head. Don't go back too far. And exhale, gazing forward. Nice. Let's now, we're gonna stretch out the right side of the neck by lowering the left ear toward the left shoulder. Nice stretch on the right side. Breathing through it, don't hold the breath. Also making sure you've got that nice balance in the seat. Shoulders are stacked. And then exhale, lowering the chin toward the chest. So these are the things that go through my mind when I practice yoga. Let's inhale first. Gaze up over, right over your head. Don't go back too far, and exhale, going forward. I always go through in my head. I'm constantly scanning my body, constantly looking for the action that each body part is supposed to be taken. Every yoga pose has an action. Some of it would be restful, but there's an action. So I always kind of go in my mind what actions I'm taking with my body. Let's inhale the arms out to a T. Palms up. Inhale. Let's just have those palms facing each other. We're going to take a twist to the right. So the hips are forward. We're twisting from the waist up. The right hand can come behind your chair, depending on what kind of chair you have. The left hand can come on the outside of the chair or on the outside of the right leg. Whatever makes you comfortable to help guide you into this twist. And remember, it's a twist, but it's really a gentle guide, guiding the upper body to turn to the right. Inhaling, we lengthen the spine, and exhaling, twisting to the right. And one more time, inhale, and exhale. Nice. We slowly come out of the twist because the spine's in a lot of different positions. Let's go ahead and inhale those hands up so that the palms are facing each other. You're aligning the spine now, and let's twist in the other direction. Hips are forward. You know, readjust yourself on the seat. Make sure you find nice balance. Left hand comes behind. If maybe you're grabbing the chair, or maybe you're able to bring the left hand behind you and it's at the same level as the seat. Right hand could come on the outside of that left leg or on the chair. Whatever helps you, whatever feels right. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. Beautiful. Again, inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. And let's come back to center. Nice and slow. Realign the spine. Inhale up and exhale, lowering the hands down. Fingertips, there we go. Inhale up and exhale down. And this time, we're just gonna bring that left arm up. So we're gonna stretch out the left side of the body. So the right hand can kind of grab the seat of the chair with the right hand, or however you can find a way to attach that right hand so it's not kind of flailing out there. You want that right hand grounded. Maybe you move the right hand in. Maybe you do have an arm there. So just to make sure that that right hand is anchored somewhere. Then we're gonna lift the left hand up and over, and we're stretching the left side of the body here. We inhale and exhale, the body softens. You don't have to kind of guide the body deeply into a fold. You wanna inhale, just making sure, be aware that your chair really needs to be solid here. You don't wanna go too deep and risk any part of the chair going with you. So if you notice your seat is rising up, push with that right hand, push yourself up. So you're up to really where you should be. Nice, one more breath, inhale and exhale. And then using that right hand to push yourself up, let's inhale that right hand up and exhale, lowering down. And inhale, bring those hands up. And this time we're gonna lower that left hand now onto the chair. You're gonna grab under the chair. Whatever you need to do to kind of ground that left hand down, because that's the purpose of the left hand on the earth, is really to be your grounder, to be your anchor, not your ankle. So let's inhale that right hand up, and then the right hand's coming up and over. Inhale, exhale to soften. Again, don't tip too far. Just let that exhale go. If you find that right side's lifting up, you can notice that right away. All of a sudden you feel a little air. Push that left hand down so the seat stays balanced on the chair. Inhale to reach and exhale to fold. Nice. And push down on that left hand. Come on up. Let's bring those arms to the T and inhale up. And then we're going to lower our hands onto the knees. So we're going to do some seated cat and cows on the chair, of course. So you may want to just inch yourself a little bit toward the front of the chair. Not a lot. You don't want to jeopardize ever tipping the chair. So just bringing yourself so there's an inch to 2 inches between your back and the back part of the chair. If you want to just check and make sure nothing's moving in the chair before we start cat and cow, please do that. And if you're feeling any rockiness, I hope you're not, slide your seat back and just we'll do the exercise, with your back up against the seat. So just placing your hands right on the front of the knees. In cow, we rise up, we bring the abdomen forward. Our arms are soft. You can actually use the chair too for the base, the seat of the chair, if you want to bring your hands under. Just keeping those elbows soft, we gaze up. And then we exhale, so we straighten out the arms, chin to chest, round the spine. This is why I had you come a little bit forward, because the spine rounds a little bit. And then inhale, soften the arms, come on up. Chest rises up, abdomen comes forward, gazing up. Exhale into cat, round that spine, chin to chest, straighten out the arms. Inhale again into cow. And exhale into cat. Nice. And 2 more times on your own. Connect to the breath, the inhale. Remember your dedication, that joy-filled person or pet. Exhale, releasing the tension, maybe getting that lower back to have that nice soft contact with the back of the chair again. And come on up, 1 more time. And exhale, beautiful. Straightening out those arms, chin to chest. And let's come back to center. We're gonna inhale those out. Stick those arms out, to a T. Inhale. And then lowering the hands right back onto the knees. So we're gonna come into a seated forward fold. Make sure now that your seat and lower back are right back where we started, nicely pressed up against the chair. Making sure you have good contact with your feet on the earth, whether they're on books. You don't want the feet dangling. And that could impact your lower back. So it's good to know that, especially if you take a lot of chair classes, you want your feet to have good contact with the earth. So again, books or a bolster or whatever you need, or maybe you're nice and flat, on the earth, that's great. So we're gonna come into the forward fold. Let's take our thumbs and just kind of push your thumb into your hip crease, okay? We're gonna hinge from the hips, right from the hips when we come into the forward fold. Before we do that, we want to align the spine, because we want to come into a forward fold where we don't just round the back. So we're gonna hinge from the hips, the spine is aligned, and slowly come down. Only come down to the top of the legs, but once your back starts to round, that means that you should just stop right there. So if I'm coming down and I'm starting to round here, I'm going to stop here. This is my forward fold. Maybe I'll bring my hands across my lap like this to give me support too. You can also put blocks on the lap. If you've taken any of my restorative classes, we use a lot of props for that too. Otherwise, you're hinging from the hips, you're aligned, and you're slowly coming down. Any discomfort in the lower back, what do? You come up. You listen to the body. If it's telling you, not today. You listen, okay? And let's slowly start to rise up. Let's bring those arms to the T. Inhale those hands up. Nice stretch. I always like to realign the spine after these stretches, especially when we're doing one side and the other side. And lower the hands down. Let's get reacquainted with that chair again. We're going to start to do some work on the legs. So we're going to just start simply by lifting the left knee up, lifting the right knee up, lifting the left knee up, lifting the right knee up. That's it. Now we're going to do it twice on one side. 1, lower, 2, lower. Right knee up, 1, lower, 2, lower. This time we're going to keep the foot flexed. Do it 3 times on each side. So flex a foot, 1, lower, 2, lower, 3, lower. Nice. Inhale, same thing. Right side, 1, lower, foot is flexed, 2, lower, 3, lower. Nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring the right hand to the outside of that left leg and twist gently, 1. Do the same thing on the other side now. Bring the left hand to the outside of that right leg once. Do it twice. So once and tap. So right hand taps the outside of that left leg and do the same thing now on the right side. So the left hand taps, and that's it. Coming back to center. Now we're going to put the lifts and that twist together. So we're going to lift the left leg and bring the right leg to the outside and lower. Same thing on the other side. Lift that right leg. Bring the left hand to the outside of that right leg. So there's a lot going on here. We're twisting, we're lifting, we're stretching. Lift that left leg, right hand on the outside of that left leg. And again, on the other side. So we're lifting the leg and we're using the opposite arm to come to the outside. You just keep doing it nice and slow. So you're twisting, so you want to be nice and stable. Lift that left leg, crisscross. Lift that left leg, crisscross with the right arm. One more time. And coming back to center. Let's inhale those hands up. Now we're going to take a twist again. Just bringing that right hand behind you with the left hand on the outside of the right leg. 1 or 2 breaths. And back to center. Inhale, realign the spine. Bringing in that oxygen, twist to the left here. Nice. And then back to center. So we're going to do a little bit more with the leg now. Now we're going to lift that left leg. Lift it up as high as you can and extend it out. Bring it back in and lower down. Same thing now with the right side. Bring that right knee up nice and high. Don't force it. This is guiding it up. So it's kind of, bring it up as to where your comfortable limit is. Extend the right leg up. To keep that right foot flexed, you keep it nice and engaged. Right knee back. Again, we're going to do it 2 times on the left side. Left knee up, extend, soften, lower down. Bring that knee up, extend, soften, lower down. Same thing on the right side. Bring that right knee up, extend, soften, lower down, extend, soften, nice, and lower down. Now we're going to do both legs together. And what's going to happen is you're going to have to engage the core. So like if you were doing sit-ups or if you were doing something like that, it's very, very important to engage the core. You know, it also protects the lower back. So find the comfort. You can really push yourself up against your chair. If you have lower back issues and and your core is a little weak, it takes time to build it up. Just continue doing one leg at a time. So I'll do the leg lifts an even amount of time. So you can do the right leg and then the left leg and then the right leg. So otherwise, we're going to bring both knees up, extend out, bring them in, and lower down. And that's it. Just, you know, you can use your hands too. That gives you a little bit of traction as you're bringing the knees in. So knees up together, extend, bring the knees up and lower down. Okay, that wasn't so bad, was it? Let's bring those arms together. Inhale up, exhale, lower down. Really, when you're lowering down, try to open the chest a little bit too. So let's do that again. Inhale the hands up and exhale, lowering down. So we're going to do that leg lift and twist one more time. So do you remember that? Remember what we did? We lifted the left leg up, we crossed the body with the right hand, and we just did a little bit of a twist. Lower the left leg down, bring that right leg up and twist. And same thing, left, and then right leg, crisscross. Let's do 3 more on each side. So that's left, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. Nice. Bring those hands to a T. Inhale those hands up. We're going to cross all the fingers, turn the palms up toward the sky, and exhale, lowering down nice and slow. Inhale, push, 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 pushing forward. Again, exhale, lowering down. Inhale, and exhale, lowering down. So we're gonna bring that left knee up. We're gonna crisscross all the fingers on both hands. See if you can just guide that left knee up a little bit higher, making sure the right foot's nice and grounded. So the left foot is being lifted up by both hands. You can, if you want, bring the hands under your hamstring. Just don't use the knee behind the knee to kind of guide that left knee up. So let's go ahead and bring that left knee up. You're just kind of inhaling, and on the exhale is when you slide that left knee up as high as you can. Remember, to your comfortable limit. Once it's uncomfortable, you know this isn't good for you, baby. It's a hip, it's a knee. Listen to the body. And again, if you have your hands under the hamstring, it's inhale and exhale. Soften the body. Nice. Beautiful. That's all. Let's do the right side now. So crisscross both hands. Bring that right knee in. Nice. Inhale and exhale. My body softens on my exhales. And I'm really a lot more flexible. Inhale, because the exhales, that's when you're releasing any stress in the body. If you think of a balloon, when a balloon inflates, when you breathe in, you're inflating the lungs. When a balloon inflates, it expands. And when the air comes out, what happens? It softens. It has a lot more flexibility. Not that I'm comparing us to balloons, but that's kind of the concept. So let's go ahead and lower that hand onto the knee. We're going to bring our hands to a T here. Inhale the hands up this time. Let's lower the right hand just right to your side, palms facing in. Left hand, we're just reaching up here. So I'm seated, my shoulders are stacked. We're just reaching that left arm up, stretching gently. I'm not really pushing too hard here. And then lowering that left hand, bringing that right hand up. Nice stretch here. And this time we're gonna bring both hands up facing together. We're gonna lower our arms down. As you lower down, soften the elbows so that they're at that 90-degree angle, and just exhale, bring the arms behind you. If you're back of the chair, if your arms hit the back of the chair, you can come a little bit forward. Let's go ahead and inhale, bringing the arms up. Once the your arms are soft by your temples, extend those arms up, gaze up. Exhale, lowering the hands down, softening those elbows, bringing the hands behind you. This time, I want you to grab the back of the chair. So your kind of chest is coming forward here, and slowly lower down, using the strength of the arms to kind of allow your body to lower down, and then pulling yourself up to your limit. Remember, to when you're comfortable. We're going to go ahead and inhale, soften those arms, inhale the arms up, exhale. See how I'm kind of, as soon as I come down, the arms are coming to that 90. We're going to exhale And bring them behind you. Grab the back of the chair and come forward. And pull yourself up. Bring the arms up this time, just to the fold, just here, just so the elbows are the same height as the shoulder. Let's open up the chest just a little bit here, okay? Bring the hands together. See if you can bring the elbows and palms together. Open up again, elbows at shoulder height. Maybe the shoulder blades are coming together behind you. And bring the hands together. Beautiful. One more time. Let's do it all together here. So we're gonna open, close, open, close. Bring the hands up, lower down, soften those arms, bring them behind you. Grab onto the back of the chair, hinging forward, keeping that spine straight, but using the arms to help guide you down. Pulling yourself up. Inhale those hands up. And let's take a nice gentle twist to the right. Right hand comes behind the chair, left hand on the outside of that right leg. Just holding for a breath or two. These twists are great. They massage your inner organs. Getting the oxygen in, it's wonderful. Back to center, nice and slow. Inhale those arms up. And let's twist to the left now. Right hand on the outside of that left knee, okay? Twisting here. Coming back to center. Let's inhale those hands up. Just reaching this time, just gentle reaching, maybe softening the arms a little bit. And we're gonna lower our hands right to the sides, right? You can have your thumbs right kind of underneath you and just start to kind of roll the shoulders back a little bit. Getting rotation in the shoulders, going back. We're really coming close to the end of the practice now, and I just want everybody to kind of slow down. It's a gentle class anyway, but just kind of noticing. We did a lot of stretches of the side. We did some work on the legs. We definitely did positive breathing, positive dedications. Hopefully you have a nice positive feeling here. You know, we're gonna lift the shoulders up. I like to call this the I don't know. Bring the shoulders up, I don't know. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, I don't know. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale. Exhale, lower down. Nice. Go ahead and bring your arms to that T now. Palms facing up. Turn those palms down toward the ground. Exhale, lowering down, opening up that chest. Inhale those arms up. Bringing the palms and fingers together and lowering to heart center. I'd like to thank you for joining me today in North Hempstead's Project Independence Beach Chair Yoga. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of the Project Independence virtual fitness classes, you can always call 311 or 869-6311. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.
Hi everyone, my name is Toyomi. I teach Ikebana, Japanese flower arrangement at Long Island Japanese Culture Center. Here are some examples of freestyle Ikebana. Imagine a frame here. This creates space in the work. Ikebana represents our universe. Here's the sky. Here's the earth, including the ground and the ocean. In between are us humans and animals. The open spaces represent the air we breathe. These open spaces are very important in Ikebana. In Ikebana, there are two styles. One is Nageire, which uses long containers like this. The other style is Moribana, which uses flatter containers like this. In this video, I will show you how to arrange Moribana style with two forms. First, basic upright form, then basic slanting form. The required materials are 1 kenzan, a very heavy iron plate with sharp needles used to hold the branches and flowers. 1 flat container with the kenzan placed near the edge, not the center. 1 pair of ikebana scissors, traditional or modern. A bowl of water and additional water for the container. Pour the water into the container. Fill until the kenzan is covered, so that the stems can reach the water. For this demonstration, I will be using Japanese maple and yellow chrysanthemum flowers. You don't have to use these stems. You can use anything as long as it is a long branch or flower. You can even use branches from your backyard. Now I will explain to you the 3 most important stems of this basic style: Shin, Soe, and Hikae. Shin is the longest stem, and Soe is second longest stem. Hikae is the shortest stem. Additional stems are called jushi and are used to fill space and add width and depth. To measure the 3 main stems, you use the height and diameter of the container. We'll start with the shin stem. Take the shin stem and measure from the top, not very top, somewhere around here. Then measure the height and first add on the diameter, then add on half of the height and half of diameter, aka the radius. Hold on to that point you just measured. Don't let go and don't cut yet. Your shin stem should be 1.5 times the height and diameter. This is the minimum length for this style and form. The maximum length is double the height and diameter. For now, we will stick with the minimum length. Next, grab your soy stem. Align it with your shin stem. Your soy stem will be 3/4 or 3/4 the length of your shin stem. Again, hold on, don't let go or cut. Then, grab your hikae stem. This will be 3/4 or 3/4 of your soy stem. Measure and hold. Now you can cut each stem, but only one at a time, and leave an extra inch. We'll be cutting it one more time later, so you will need the extra 1 inch then. Trim the bottom leaves. Almost ready to arrange, but first, I will show you the degrees we will be using for both forms. This is 0 degrees. This is 15 degrees. This is 45 degrees. And this is 75 degrees. And this is 90 degrees. Also, the position of each stem on the kanzan for both forms are here, here, and here. They should form a small triangle. Try not to position them too near the edge. For this form, the upright form, the shin stem goes here, the soe stem goes here, the hikae stem goes here. The jushi will go somewhere within this triangle. This will be front side of your container. So make sure your kanzan is placed near the front left. Now, take your shin branch and cut it one more time at an angle, not horizontally. Then cut vertically once or twice, depending on how hard that stem is. This cut will make it easier to insert the stem into the kanzan. If your stem is curved like this, press it so that it's curved upwards or towards the front, not downwards or toward the back. This is so that we feel the most energy from the stem. If it's face down or back, it will look almost lifeless and will feel little or no energy. Back to the shin stem. Push it into the kanzan. Be careful of the needles. For branches, we'll push it in straight down and then angle it towards your left shoulder at 15 degrees. Next, take your soe stem, cut it at angle, then cut vertically once or twice. Then push it into the kanzan, straight down, and angle it toward your left shoulder at 45 degrees. Now, take your hikae stem. For flowers, you have to cut the stem twice in the water at an angle so that there's a maximum surface area for it to absorb water. Also, for flowers, push the stem at 45 degrees, not straight down, because flowers have weaker stems. Angle it towards your right shoulder at 75 degrees. With this, you have your 3 main stems. Next, you will add the jushi to fill space and add width and depth. This flower juicy is ho hikae, so it must be shorter than the hikae stem. This will be used to fill space. This branch juicy is ho soe. So it must be shorter than the soe stem. This will be used to add width and depth. (15°, 45°, 75°). And lastly, we add some ribs to cover the kenzan, which should be mostly hidden. This is the upright form of the basic Moribana style. The second form I will show you is slanting form of the basic Moribana style using eucalyptus and hydrangea. We'll be going to a little quicker this time. The only differences between the two forms are the location of the kenzan and the position and angles of the shin and soe stems. The shin stem will be here at 45 degrees. The soe stem will be here at 15 degrees. The hikae stem remains here at and will still be there at 75 degrees. It's best to place something like a paper towel, napkin, or newspaper underneath the kenzan to avoid damaging the container and to prevent it from moving too much. The kenzan will be placed here on the right back side of the container for the slanting form. Add the water and let's begin. First, we start with measuring. The shin is 1.5 times the height and diameter of the container. The soe is 3/4 the shin stem. And hikae is 3/4 the soe stem. Now we cut them one at a time, then start arranging. Push in the shin stem over here 45 degrees. Then the soe stem over here 15 degrees. Twice in the water. Then the hikae stem, same as before, 75 degrees. With this, the three main important stems are done. Now we add the jushi. This jushi is hikae, so make it shorter than the hikae stem. Add to fill space. This jushi is soe, so make it shorter than the soe stem. add fall, width, and depth. Only at the juicy is you think there's too much open space, or if you think your work lacks width or depth. Then, last, we add the green to cover the genzan. This is the slanting form of the basic Moribana style. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a nice day. Goodbye. Sayonara.
I hope that you had a great time joining us for this week's virtual FunDay Monday. I, along with our town board, our receiver of taxes, and our town clerk, thank you for allowing us to join you in your homes, on your TVs, and on your computers. We hope to see you again next week.